This is the Tab S9 FE Plus, and I've been using it for an entire year as a sidekick, but also as a primary device on days I'm spending outside. And today I'll be talking about all the great things this tablet is capable of, but also some of the areas where it just falls short and you need to be careful. And I want to start with the build quality. The Tab S9 FE Plus is using the same aluminum and build materials as the more premium flagships, and that means you get a bourgeoisie build for your peasant money. There isn't a scratch anywhere on the tablet or the display even after a whole year. And for most of the year, I've been using this Dexnor keyboard that I linked below in the description. It's very proper. The build of the case is rigid and goes all the way around the border, so it easily protects the tablet from damage, but also from scratch-prone surfaces. Obviously, the case is paying an homage to the floating display of the Apple Magic Keyboard case and is a nice change from the boring and overpriced peripheries you get from the Exodia of capitalism, Samsung. But there's more. The keyboard is proper S tier. The keys are all backlit and have a surprising amount of travel, and overall the entire keyboard is very rigid with very little flex. The only problem or downside to this case is that tracking pad. It works for sure, but I prefer it to have a bit more haptic feedback. Other than that, it's my most recommended tablet accessory. So let's talk about performance from an experience standpoint. What can this tablet really do well, and where does it start to fall short and maybe even fail? Being chilling includes watching YouTube, Netflix, Prime, etc. Essentially casual entertainment, and this tablet can handle all of it like nothing. The speakers also sound great and are very crispy, enough to make for an immersive experience every time you find the sauce. Is anyone really watching sauce on a tablet? Moving up a notch, let's get into light productivity. The 8 gigs of RAM also seamlessly handles split screen and having multiple Chrome tabs open along with Google Docs, so you can run ChatGPT and dish out an entire essay, or run Quizlet flashcards with some lo-fi playing on the side. Let's kick it up one more notch. Now you're a student and you got systems. Samsung Notes works flawlessly. The S Pen is cheap compared to other pens but works perfectly fine. For note-taking, Samsung Notes is my favorite native note-taking app ever. And the best part is that when I'm done with my notes, it's super easy to take the notes and export them out of Samsung Notes and into Notion. That way I can file the notes more specifically to a specific class and a specific lecture. Plus, you get all the features in Notion, so I can add different metrics to the notes to check off when I reviewed them, to add more questions to them, and to add dates or other assignments linking them. So okay, it handles student business flawlessly. Let's kick it up one more time and run some Genshin. Yep, it does that too. But it does slow down and lag at times, even on the lowest settings. And after a 30-minute gaming session, the back is starting to heat up a little bit, and that's a sign and indicator of the efficiency or the deficiency or inefficiency of the chip. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, the Bluetooth keyboard from Dexnor or any Bluetooth keyboard will not work with Genshin. Genshin only allows Bluetooth compatibility with Apple products, so on the Apple iPad, you can use a keyboard to play Genshin. Otherwise, you cannot. I could also say the same about the photo and video editing. The limitations of the processor start to shine when it takes about 29 minutes to edit a 30-second 4K TikTok clip. Okay, so now let's go all the way into productivity hell, Samsung DeX. You see, DeX is the ultimate multitasking monster that Samsung created for tablets, and it was looking really promising. Then they just stopped updating it. So now most of the apps on DeX are just super unoptimized and barely functional. Still, it's really a good way to push productivity if your library of apps is perfect. For the apps that are optimized, DeX runs them just fine as long as you don't move the windows around too much, otherwise you will get lag spikes. Okay, so far it's been a pretty positive note. Let's get into some issues, but before then, please smash the subscribe button. It really helps grow a channel like the Chilled Fossil, and I appreciate every single one of you. Okay, let's talk a bit about battery. If you're below the cafe business side of productivity, you're chilling. This tablet will easily last you the entire day without requiring multiple charges, but as soon as you are in above student business, you're charging up one or more times a day for sure. And the reason is that even though the chip isn't that bad, it's definitely a very reasonable chip at this price point. I've been comparing this to multiple other flagships throughout the entire year, and it's very apparent that the battery management and heat management are very subpar. It's mostly comparable to something like the A54. But that's not all that's lacking, ladies and gentlemen. Galaxy AI also will not reach your peasant workflow, and that's maybe not a problem. Maybe? The soy sauce maker has announced the Tab S9 FE or any of the FE tabs will never get Galaxy AI features that the FE phones and most all other products are getting. But if you are not using AI features right now, that literally doesn't matter unless Galaxy AI comes up with something insane. And most of the really cool features have to do with the camera and note-taking. The camera on the tablet sucks, so I'm not even going to talk about it or mention that, but there are a lot of AI features that you are missing out on when it comes to student business, like being able to transcribe entire recorded lectures and then extract a summarized version of the lecture as well. In my time, I've used this maybe twice over the whole year, and because I have a Samsung phone, I can just use that instead of the tablet. If you are part of the Samsung ecosystem, then the lack of AI in the tablet can definitely be made up with other Samsung products, allowing you to keep your super smooth workflow. So those are definitely limitations, but there's one more: the hardware itself. If you're way too used to OLED or are a die-hard OLED fan, you're not going to like this screen. Don't get me wrong, colors are great, and with 90Hz refresh rates, transitions are pretty smooth and it is sufficiently bright. But whenever I get off an OLED display and open up the tablet, I immediately notice the LCD display. Now, it's probably the most close to OLED LCD display I've ever seen, but my eyes still pick that up. And in no way does that ever impact your productivity or usability. Also, it's IP68 certified, so if you do accidentally drop it in the toilet while watching the sauce, you should be fine. Now, there are other alternatives as well. A few months back, a brand called CHUWI sent me their H10 Max tablet PC. And it's very, very different from the S9 FE Plus, but at a cheaper price point. Essentially, it's running Windows in a tablet format, and I've been using it for note-taking, flashcards, reviews, etc. Basically the same things that I've been doing on the Tab S9 FE, and it handles them all really well. It also has robust build quality made of straight aluminum and metal. It's even got fans inside to enhance the cooling and takes on Microsoft Surface Visage as well. The pen it comes with is S tier. It's insane quality, made of full aluminum, perfectly balanced, and looks the business as well. Runs an Intel N100 chip along with 3K resolution on the 12.96-inch display. It also has 12 gigs of RAM built in to power its Windows 11, so it is more par with more premium tablets, but at a much cheaper price point. So if you are interested in checking out the CHUWI tablet that I've been using over the past few months, I've got it linked in the description down below. And to take an additional 10% off your order, use the code CHILLED at checkout. So let's close out now with my final thoughts after a year of using the Tab S9 FE Plus. For the price you're paying, you're getting a very reasonable processor and RAM along with fantastic but cheaper LCD display. The build quality is impressive and will last a long while, so yeah, you're paying for reliability but also that Samsung name as well. Overall, I think it's the perfect tablet for college students, or if you're maybe running a very small business like, I don't know, a lemonade stand, essentially where you're just taking notes, creating some workflows to streamline your studying, but aren't doing too much more like gaming or video editing. For that, you definitely want the premium tablets. And if you aren't using this one for notes with the S Pen or other project workflows, and mainly only for video calls or watching YouTube videos, your money might be better spent on something like the Tab A4, which you can click here to watch that video.
まもなく6番線に快速おめい行きが参ります。危ないですから黄色い線路内側までお下がりください。